welcome. My name is Year 64, and also known as Winter, and I am with Weylyn. You know what, Weylyn? Why don't you introduce yourself? How about that?
Alrighty. Well, hello. My name is Weylyn. I'm currently CSP rank in the 91st, and I am the section lead of Beskar Crew 1-3.
And what does CSP mean? Just so everyone gets a general idea.
CSP is Clone Specialist. It's no high rank. It merely just states that I have been in the 91st Mobile Reconnaissance Corps for about 4 months now, I'd say.
4 months. Damn, I thought you were in longer. Not gonna lie.
Oh, I've been here for 4 months.
So I have assembled an army of questions for you that may shed some light on Beskar because, I'm not saying you guys don't get as much credit as you guys do, but some people may not be as, I guess, informed or aware of what you guys entirely do. So I put together a list of questions that I think will elaborate on not only Beskar as a whole, but yourself and the things I wouldn't say you have done, but how Beskar has affected you as a person itself, rather than just the detachment as a whole.
All right,
so
good.
I guess where I want to start with this is just basic questions. What do you do in Beskar? What is your primary, primary, what's the word I'm looking for?
Objective?
Not really objective, but primary, because objective means like you're doing something, but I guess that is, primary objective of what you guys do.
Beskar's main objective, as is with every detachment in the 91st, our main objective is to support the mainline infantry known as Kyber. I personally will do anything I can to try and support Kyber, whether it is putting one of my vehicles in front of a downed member and get medical on them, or providing fire support. My whole mission is to support Kyber. Beskar's objective as itself is to prioritize supporting Kyber through vehicle contact. So Beskar is in charge of every land vehicle. So any TX 130 Sabres you can think of, any transport you can think of, the ATTE, the ATJT. If it's got an engine and it's on the ground, it's my priority and my reign or my area of command.
I understand. So you guys are an armor detachment of sorts, I guess is the better way of putting it. You're more of a support detachment rather than mainline offense, I guess is a better way of putting it, is how I understand it, correct?
That is correct.
Well, that's a good starting point. What is the biggest or the most stable armor piece that you guys have in your arsenal as of right now?
Personally, I would say the TX 130 Super Sabre. It is a great vehicle. It is pretty quick. It can hit like a truck. Takes out enemy tanks in 2 or 3 shots, and it can tank one hell of a beating. I love the vehicle personally, and I want to see it used more.
I see. Is it not used often, as much as you would like?
It is not. We use another tank called the Kunda tank. It is effectively a tank destroyer. It is very lightly armored, very quick, and can dish out one hell of a punishment, but my main gripe with it is that it is so lightly armored that one round from an enemy tank or an AT trooper will destroy the entire vehicle itself.
Sounds
I
like
don't
a
have that.
glass cannon to me, man.
Yep, it really is. I don't have that problem with the Super Saber. However, it does usually take one more shot from a main cannon to deal with the tank.
I see. How many of there are you in Beskar as a whole?
Um, I am not aware. I'm not familiar with the current number off the top of my head. If you give me a moment, I can get that number for you.
All good. Man.
Three, four, five. There are 6 in Beskar right now. With 2 commanding officers, and he, I guess, as one of the leaders, and then there are 6 crewmen. That just crew our vehicles.
I see. So is the 6 separate than the 2 COs and then you?
So the hierarchy, I guess I could say, is at the very top we have Kuro, who runs the whole detachment. If there are any like big decisions, Kuro signs off on them. Then there is Doc, who is 2IC or second in command. His official position is known as Executive Officer, or XO. He's right below Kuro. He has the capacity to sign off on the big decisions as well, but he would usually let that go through Kuro for that. Then there is me, who I am a direct lead of a section. So I take orders from Doc and I pass them down to my crew. And my crew will then interpret those orders and dish out punishment where it is needed.
Understood. All right. Well, that's good to know. So there's a good number of you guys compared to like, I know Nova doesn't really have. I wouldn't say Nova doesn't have a lot because they're having quite a bit of people come in as of recently. I don't know if you saw the recent Rotary training, but there was like 6 or 7 reacts on that.
Yeah. Right now, looking at the Orbat, which is our main document, or our main series of documents and spreadsheets that outline all the information that I need to know at the current moment, there are 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in Nova.
Damn. That's a lot more than I thought it was, I'm not even gonna lie.
Honestly, yeah.
So, I guess, is there ever an instance where you guys are not operating within the capacity that you normally would? Say, for example, you're not operating within armor as a whole. Say your boots on the ground, I guess would be a better way of putting it. Is there ever an instance where that happens, or are you guys in your armor most of the time?
We are in armor most of the time. If we ever blow up or detonate, or whatever term you want to use, if we ever lose a vehicle, then we are boots on the ground for a few minutes. But when that happens, we will usually radio to Nova as early as we can to get a replacement vehicle in the AO. But we do have the capacity to run around and shoot.
I see. So, alright. So you're not operating within armor all the time. It's very rare, but there are times where shit goes south, I guess is a better way of putting it, and you guys are boots on the ground.
Really quickly, I have a question for you that you're going to have to cut out. Do you have your sound pack on?
Sound pack on.
Yeah. So do you have like if someone joins the channel, will you hear like the AI lady tell you? Okay, cool.
I have that off.
Hold on. In that case, let me set a password to my office. There we go. So now no one can join and annoy us.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
I'll just cut that out right after the fact, and then I'll just splice it together.
Yep.
My next question for you is, I know Kyber and Beskar operate within each other, but what assignments do you guys go on without? I would say without getting too heavy into it, because I don't know what's classified, what's not classified, what you can't say, what you can't say, what you can say. Uh, so, what assignments do you guys go on? What do you usually, I guess, do when you're out on the field? I guess is a better way of putting it. Besides helping Kyber.
So, there are two scenarios. When Doc is in charge, or whenever he's at the op and is commanding Beskar, usually we will just roam between squads, picking out any active threats to us. And if we ever hear that a squad goes into mass cas, which is a mass casualty, so a lot of the squad is either down or dead, Beskar moves there to assist and support. But whenever it is me in command, I would like to attach a vehicle to a squad itself to try and give a squad a better fire support, so that squad can deal with better threats or bigger threats more effectively. An example of this would be I will attach a squad or a vehicle to 2-1, and the 2-1 leader or squad leader, who is, if I'm correct, is Misery. Yes, it is Misery. Will be able to radio to the vehicle and ask for fire support or fire missions, or let them know, like, hey, there's a hostile vehicle coming in. Can you please deal with it? But with Doc in charge, or with Doc around, that doesn't really happen. Which I understand why. He doesn't want that, or he doesn't want Kyber to get in the headspace of, hey, you can command this tank. They are not in command of our tank. They are allowed to make requests to us, and it is up to our discretion, or up to us, to decide if we want to fulfill that request or not.
I see. Why are your guys' helmets different compared to normal CTs? Not just CTs, but just maybe leadership and Kyber as a whole. What purpose does that serve?
That serves the purpose of not only letting Beskar stand out, it also serves the purpose of, well, our current helmets are the ATRT helmet. So in official media, you'll see, or whatever the helmets that the ATRT drivers are using, those are the ones that we are using. I am personally not a fan of them. Our CO Kuro is a massive fan of them. He loves them. But detachments will usually use different helmets to signify that they are a detachment. I believe Monka doesn't, but I don't have an answer as to why they just use a normal Phase 2 helmet. I think they're gonna get airborne helmets soon, though. Don't quote me on that.
I was about to say Monka has the normal helmets, from what I'm aware of, from what I've seen from Loki.
They use the standard Phase 2 helmets.
So yeah, good to know. These next questions will go a little deeper into you specifically. So I guess how does Beskar affect you directly? Why did you join Beskar, and what drew you to it, I guess is a better way of putting it, instead of another detachment or Kyber?
So I actually remember this very clearly. In my very first op, I was running around with, I believe, Hayes, who is no longer in the unit. But I was watching, my position was getting hit hard. There was CIS on every side, and it was not looking good. Then Beskar rolls up in ATRTs, and they start gunning down all of the CIS around us, and it was just really, I guess the only, the greatest word to see or to use is epic. It was really just cool watching them open fire onto the CIS and not having to worry about getting fire returned to them at all. They had saved Kyber at the time, and that was kind of what got me like, that is so cool. I want to do that. Like, that is something that I want to get into. And at the time, Doc, who is the second in command, was walking around, and he came up to me and Hayes, and Hayes said, "Hey, Doc, I got a new recruit for you." And from then on, it was immediate. Once I got my CT or my clone trooper rank, I immediately talked to Doc about billeting or joining Beskar, and it was like, do the ride along, and you're good to go. As for how Beskar affected me, I would say it's affected me in a positive way. I really feel like good cohesion with my squad mates. I love being in Beskar. I'm pretty sure if you ask any of my other squad members that they love being in Beskar as well. They're all super fun to be around, super chill, super understanding, and we're just here to have a good time, and that's what I'm here to do as well. My job
Go ahead.
My job as leader of Section 1-3 is to sort of provide as much fun as I can for my section. I usually am a driver for any of the tanks, which I'm perfectly okay with. I feel like being a gunner is a little overwhelming for me because I have to worry about dealing with threats and engaging hostiles over a long distance, and I feel personally like a lot of responsibilities on my shoulders to keep me and my crew safe. So that's why I'm a driver most of the time, and it is also because I am trying to prioritize my squad's fun over mine. So ultimately, at the end of the day, this is a game. We're here to have fun.
Correct. And that is very, I wouldn't say stunning. I guess interesting would be a better way of putting it. Just getting insight into what specifically drove you to Beskar in particular. Just a little backstory for the people who do listen to this that I guess wouldn't say that aren't in Beskar, but more so that don't really know a lot. It provides a description for it behind it. It gives more of a meaning, I guess is what I'm looking for. Is there anyone that isn't in Beskar anymore that you remember fondly of, I guess is a better way of putting it, that left, I wouldn't say a major impact, but left somewhat of an imprint on you during their time there?
Personally, no. My time in Beskar, no one has really left Beskar. But I do know that, as for the more veteran members of Beskar, there was someone, I believe they were the Beskar CO. I could be wrong on that. They went by the name of Mocha. Mocha had left a large impact on the current state of Beskar, and I am a little sad that I never got to meet them.
I've heard that name floating around. I don't know who it is, but I've heard that name floating around from time to time, personally. So I guess on to more specific questions. For between fun ops and main ops, is there any separation of what you can and can't do between the two? Or are they one and the same?
They are mainly one and the same. I personally don't see a difference of how I run as Beskar whenever I'm in a fun op or main op. The biggest difference or real change is in fun ops, there is the capacity for me not to run as Beskar, simply because there aren't enough people to allow detachments. Like today, there was a fun op that I went to where I was a Zeus, or a Co-Zeus, which, for those who don't know, is a... If you know Dungeons and Dragons, it's essentially like a dungeon master. Zeuses run a mission in Arma. So they spawn all of the enemies, they control the objectives, they create fortresses. If it isn't someone controlling a player character and shooting, it is the Zeus in command. But at this fun op that I was Kozus at, there weren't enough people to run detachments. So everyone was just general infantry. There was 2 members of quote-unquote Ranite at that fun op, but that was not official Ranite, and it was more of a homage to Ranite, I would say.
What was Ranite? Because that
Ranite. So in the 91st, we have a few detachments. We have Monka, who is our airborne troopers. They got the jetpacks, they fly around, but between that, they are no different than the standard infantry that I know of. Then you have Beskar, which is the armor detachment. I'm explaining that now. You'll learn more of that later today. Then you have Nova, who is aviation, who flies our LATs, our ARC 170s, our bombers. Then we have Jade, who are our ARC troopers, which is advanced recon commandos. They are pretty much our special forces. And then we no longer have this detachment because of its low member count and its, I should say, ineffective procedures, which was Ranite. Ranite was our ARF troopers, which I don't know what ARF stands for, but they were essentially our forward recon. They would be sent forward to either scout a location out or be sent as designated marksmen to hit targets effectively and accurately at a large distance, or they carried mortars and would use those as long-range artillery. But like I said, they are currently no longer around. Their SOP, which is pretty much how they run, is currently being reworked and rewritten. But I cannot wait for the day that Ranite comes back. I really do miss them.
I see. So Ranite was a group of ARF troopers, which stands for Advanced Recon Force. What they, I'm presuming, did. But due to low member counts and their ineffective capabilities on the field itself, they haven't been dissolved, but they're not really recognized as much as the other ones, I'm presuming, correct?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question really quickly?
They are not dissolved, but they are not as recognized as the other detachments are, is what I'm getting.
No, Ranite is currently dissolved.
Oh.
But they are being rewritten and reworked.
Oh, I see. So it's just they're gone as of right now.
Yes, completely and utterly.
Unfortunate, but that is just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, they're gonna come back.
Most definitely, yeah. We have seen even before. I've only been here 2 months, maybe tops.
I can look it up. Oh no, wait, Orbat's gone to high hell.
Why is it gone to high hell?
Someone messed up an attendance thing, I think, and now it is just all broken. Like right now, it says your last operation was in February 19th last year.
Bro, I wasn't even here last year.
Yeah, the Orbat broke.
I can tell you when I joined because it shows February 7th of this year is when I joined the server.
I believe I joined. I do not know actually.
If you click on your profile, it should show.
I joined in September 15th of last year.
I see. So I've been here almost a month, a little over a month now.
Yeah.
Which is surprising, not gonna lie. Is Beskar able to run AT support if they are outside of armor, or is that specialized to anti-tank?
I am not fully clear, or I'm not entirely sure about that. I know that our XO and CO have permission to run disposable launchers, which is a one-shot rocket launcher that Once fired, you just drop it on the ground. But I still am not entirely sure about that. I don't believe we're allowed to run AT or support. No, we can run support, but not AT.
I see. The reason I ask is because your guys' whole, I guess, shtick is a better way. You guys are anti-armor all around, whether that's in you're in a vehicle or outside of the vehicle. So I don't know if anti-tank would be put into that category with you guys.
Yeah, I know that our main objective is to deal with armor for Kyber. I'm not entirely sure if we are allowed to carry launchers into the field ourselves.
I see. My next question I have for you is, Beskar as a whole, what if you had to tell, well, not tell, but if you had to say a couple things about the not relevancy, but the idea of Beskar and what you guys do to someone who knew nothing, what would it be?
To sum everything up, we drive the tanks and we blow shit up.
I like it. That is a good summary of the entirety of Beskar.
Yep.
After this interview, we will be doing a ride along with them at some point to show what they do, because I'm more of a show and tell type of guy. I'm not just a tell type of guy. I like to show it and tell it at the same time.
Yeah, I'd be perfectly okay with that.
Don't you guys
great.
have a qual for armor, now that I recall correctly?
We do. It is currently classified as a dead qual, for the reason that we do not teach it anymore. We actually have two qualifications. We have mechanized infantry and mechanized crew. Mechanized infantry and crew are usually taught in the same setting. It is specifically to teach infantry and Beskar crew members how to effectively operate in an urban environment. But due to lack of teachers of mech crew, we do not run it anymore. However, if I was taught how to teach mech crew and mech infantry, I would love to open that qual up again. But I've had that talk with Doc, and he has declined.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's good to know, but I wasn't referencing that. I was meaning, like, if I recall correctly, Kyber can run the guns if they have the specific qual. It's like running the ball gunner on Nova, but you have to have the crew chief qual to do that, for example.
No, we do not.
Oh, you don't?
Unless you count rank as qual. If there are ever like moments where one of our Bantha transports has just a main gunner and a driver, then infantry can get into it, and whoever is the highest rank gets the commander seat, which has access to a 50 caliber repeater inside of it.
I see.
So whenever infantry loads up into my Bantha, I always say, hey, here's the highest rank. You can get in the commander and shoot some droids.
I see. So it's Kyber can partake in to some degree outside of being in Beskar. Did you have any new recruits join as of recently?
No joins yet, but I have heard from a newly ranked CT that he is very interested in joining Beskar, and I told him the same thing that I tell all people who want to join. The requirement is to be a CT and to complete at least one ride along. Then you may talk to either me, Doc, or Kuro. and we can get you billeted.
You told me the same exact thing. I recall it.
Yep.
It was like a week after I did my BCT. You told me the same exact thing.
Yep.
So yeah. Uh, that is more of a, I guess that's for newer people if they want to be into Beskar as a whole. I guess there's something I do want to bring up. How do you feel about the Juggernaut, Weylyn?
Ooh, a touchy subject.
Went right for the
Juggernaut,
throat, not gonna lie.
the Juggernaut is a massive vehicle, capable of transporting up to 30 troopers. Is heavily armored and heavily armed, but is a, for lack of a better term, bitch and a half to drive. I do not like driving that thing, and no one in Beskar does. I lied. Our CO Kuro loves to drive that thing. But I would rather take 2 Banthas over 1 Juggernaut any day of the week.
It's just, is it just because of how big it is? Just how large it is? Or is it just...
I believe that is the reason why it is, why it struggles to drive. But it is just always bad. I've never had a good time driving it.
I see. That was one thing I did want to ask, because I remember you mentioning that the Juggernaut was a pain in the ass, is what I was told. I do have another question for you, actually. I have a couple more.
Alright.
MTTs, how do you deal with them?
MTTs. So currently, at the current time, only one of our vehicles is capable of dealing with the MTTs, and that is the Kunda, as previously stated, the light armored tank destroyer. We have a specialized type of round or a shell that we use called Dura Plate, I believe. 2 shots of those to the engine block of a MTT, which, for those who aren't well versed, a MTT is a mobile troop transport. It is very big and very armored, and in our case, in our Arma servers, is capable of transporting and creating or spawning new droids. It is a very high value target and is targeted by Nova mainly, as a lot of their aviation craft have the means to destroy it. But Beskar now has the means to destroy it as well, with the Kunda and the Duraplate rounds. 2 rounds of the Duraplate to the engine block, and it goes up in flames.
Damn. So it only takes 2 shots. Fuck. The reason I asked is
very
because
spot.
when we were going over AT training, I brought it up with Tiny, and she told me that you're not going to be able to pierce it as an AT. It's just not going to happen. That's why I brought it up, because I didn't know if you guys could destroy it or not. Because I know Nova could, I just didn't know if you guys could.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that now on the MTT, with our rocket launchers, hitting it in the engine block is capable or can immobilize it. I could be very wrong.
Either way, it's better to take a shot than not take a shot.
Honestly, yeah.
What's another armor unit that I've dealt with that I wanted to ask you about? The MTT, the AT-AT. What is the one that it goes really fast? It's not like the ATTE, but what is it called?
Does it have like the similar like body of the ATTE, but on wheels?
It reminds me of the... What is that? I want to say Vulture Droid, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Hailfire droid?
Hold on. Uh,
I'm gonna just start listing off CIS vehicle names to you. We got the AAT, the GAT, Hailfire Droid, the N99 Persuader,
I think
the
it's the GAT.
Trebuchet. The GAT is like the is the one with like the 4 hover tracks.
Oh
It's the
yeah, it's the
light
GAT.
tank.
That's the
Yeah.
one I was thinking of.
What was your question about the GAT?
How do you deal with it? Because they fire so
Uh,
fast. They fire really, really fucking fast.
So there are 2 variations of the GAT. There is the normal GAT and the AA GAT. The normal GAT, we deal with the same way that we deal with AATs, just 2 shots to the main body, and it goes up in flames. The AA GAT, we don't. I personally haven't seen a lot of them in the field. Nova usually gets to deal with them first, or Kyber does. But the way that I start to deal with them is hitting the GATs, both variations in their hover treads, will disable the vehicle, so it will no longer aim or move, and then putting one more round in the main body will destroy it.
I see. Is there any variations of armor that you have trouble dealing with? That because most of them you can take out, even the MTT, for example. But is there any that bring you guys trouble when you see it, for example?
The MTT, of course, it is always an issue.
Yeah.
Because in order to effectively deal with it, we have to get behind it, and sometimes it is in an urban environment where getting behind it is a very, very difficult task. The heavy AAT or the King AAT is also a little bit of an issue, strictly because it is heavily armored in comparison to the normal AAT. I believe it takes like 5 or 6 rounds of a main cannon on any of our vehicles to destroy it. But also the ADSD, or the Advanced Dwarf Spire Droid, is also an issue. It is extremely durable, and is considered as a super heavy tank. Personally, I have not been on the receiving end of an ADSD. Usually, Beskar is able to destroy it before it spots us. It is very slow. So whenever I see it, we just circle around it and pop a few rounds at it, and it's dead. But I believe if it ever does spot us, it is a quick trip to the grave.
I see. This is providing very much of an insight into what you guys deal with on a assignment to assignment basis. Is there any instances where you work with other detachments, not just Kyber, but say Monka or Jade? I know you guys work with Nova, but just other detachments or other sectors of the 91st as a whole?
So with Monka, Jade, or any other boots on the ground detachment, I do not believe so. If we ever do, it is a request for them to push ahead and clear out a town or something so that we can move in safely. But like you said, you know that we work with Nova. Nova is our primary transport for getting our vehicles into an AO. And they are our primary way of dealing with MTTs. While the Kunda, like I said, can, it is only that one vehicle that can, so whenever we see an MTT, we will usually call Nova in, even if there is a Kunda in the field, as the Kunda's Duraplate rounds are very limited. But I know that there was an instance where Monka was on top of a roof, and one of our gunners was cleared to take down the building that they were on. He did not see that they were on top of it, so he dumped a few rounds into that building, and Monka fell with it and got effectively eliminated all in one go.
I see. Like I said earlier, sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. It's just it's a hit or miss type of deal.
Yep.
It seems to me that you have enjoyed your time at Beskar, just overall, since you got into the 91st. I came a little after you personally, from what we went over earlier. So, but in that time, from when I did meet you to now, it just seems like you've enjoyed it, for the most part, which is a good thing, I'd say. I guess if you had to tell one, I wouldn't say one thing. Damn, cat, you are running all over the place. If you had to say one thing about Beskar that you would tell somebody looking to join, what would it be?
Looking to join the 91st or Beskar itself?
Let's go both. Why not?
With the 91st, I would say that, when you first join, it is a little of like official, like the recruiter will ask you more official questions, like regarding you personally, and they will help you get things set up. But once that phase is over, it is all fun from there. Personally, I have the only more official moments that I've had are my NCO training. But other than that, it is to just expect a good time. I have had only one instance so far where I was genuinely upset at someone in the 91st, but that was quickly resolved. And for joining Beskar itself, I would say expect to get blown up. You, much as good as you think you are, you will never be able to have a constant 360, and there is no possible way that you will be able to see an incoming shot or whatever at all times. It is unlikely that you can see all that. I have gone ops where I have been able to spot everything before it fires, but that comes very, very rarely. As much as I wish that it would come more often, it is just unlikely and unrealistic.
I see.
So for joining the 91st, expect a good time. Joining Beskar, expect to get blown up.
I see. Yeah. Is there any questions you have for me? I guess is a better way of putting it.
No, not really. I believe you have enjoyed your time here.
Very much so.
If there's ever any issue, you can come to me. Yeah.
And that goes for any of you guys. If I can vouch for Weylyn myself, and a lot of other people can, not just myself. But if you ever need anything, you can always go to him as well. It's not, he's a very good guy. I can say that for a fact. I think I've enjoyed myself more here than I did in my previous milsim I was in. This is more of a star sim. It's separate. But the milsim I was in prior to this, I spent almost 2 years in, and I am still a CT. I am an FTL, but I am still a CT. FTL stands for Fire Team Leader. And I feel like I wasted my time. So when I joined the 91st, I originally met Weylyn, and I met Sound at my first BCT, and I've just enjoyed myself ever since, for the most part. It's just, it doesn't feel like you're, I guess I don't want to say tied to anything, because like you want to go to main ops and stuff like that, because it's a lot more fun than what you would expect it to be, but at the end of the day, you literally could just hang out, and you're not tied to anything.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you bill it, you're required, but those requirements are like in the last milsim I was in, you would have to get like 3 raids or 3 main ops, for example, every 2 weeks, which is absolutely insane. Yeah, but the flip side to that being is they're about 30 to 45 minutes a pop on a normal game. If you get steamrolled, it's like 20 minutes, if not shorter.
That's a lot.
I know. It got to a point where I felt burnt out, but like, Tier, for example,
Yes.
he just left. Straight up just
Did
left.
he really?
No, he didn't leave the 91st. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh.
He left the Milson.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, no. He didn't
got me
leave.
worried.
He didn't leave the 91st. I talked to him just last night, and yeah, I might do the same honestly because I'm enjoying myself more here. So if any of you guys are thinking of joining, Beskar is always an option, like we went over today, or just joining the 91st as a whole. I think you'll enjoy yourself if you really like Star Wars.
Yeah,
Personally, I do.
I was a
but
similar way.
what's up?
Sorry to interrupt this. Sorry to interrupt.
Go for it.
Okay. I was a similar way. I joined a milsim unit first, a modern milsim called Task Force 121. I did a few ops there. Ultimately, I wasn't really a fan of it. No, I found the 91st. Came the 91st op, and I loved this way more than I loved the milsim unit. So I eventually left the milsim unit and came here. That is no shade thrown at Task Force 121. It's just not for me. I found a better, more interesting time here in the 91st than a modern milsim.
I see. For me, it's not just about the star sim as a whole. It's more so about the people that are in it as well. There's like it's like how do I put this? It's like a give and take type of thing. It's just I enjoy being with the people that I'm in with, and then because those people are there, I enjoy doing the main ops and stuff like that. Like, for example, I'm setting up a fun op on Monday that I'm just trying to get as many people in, and I wouldn't feel motivated to do that if it wasn't for the people and then what we do in the ops as a whole. Because honestly, when you sign up for a fun op, there's a brief description, but you don't know what you're getting yourself into 90% of the time.
Yeah. Like Polar Bear's fun op today. It was, or all that I gathered from the main message was nighttime and snow. That was pretty much all I understood.
Like one time I loaded into one of Loki's fun ops because I just wanted to go to it, and the whole Venator was dark. It was pitch black.
Yeah.
And there were drop pods in the main hangar waiting for us. I was like, oh fuck, shit's about to get real.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Remind me to go to Loki's fun ops.
I'm having him Zeus the one on Monday, but
Ooh.
what happened is he took all of us, split us into twos, and we all dropped around the map.
Oh, I think I heard about this.
You probably did. Maybe.
Yeah, I think I did. I was really upset that I missed out on that. That sounded so much fun. Being in tanks, I don't really get to like be on the ground and shoot things. That's why yesterday, the main op, I decided to forego being a Beskar trooper, and I went to run with Monka. And it was a lot of fun itself, being a little jetpack boy. And I got to shoot droids with a rifle, which I've missed for a while now.
I see. You can, for those who are still listening, you can get multiple quals of the same thing. Like, for example, I was looking at your quals, Weylyn. You don't have rotary.
Correct.
You can get rotary, though, even though you're in Beskar.
Yeah. I've actually been looking to go get rotary. I'm just never awake at the time. But currently, I have a plethora of qualifications.
Yeah.
Not to brag or anything. But currently the quals that I run in operations are the, I guess, Clone Trooper qual, Grenadier qual, and the JTAC Trooper qual. Which both of those quals are kind of hand in hand. They allow the use of a underbarrel grenade launcher on my main rifle. Grenadier lets me fire high explosive grenades, and the JTAC Trooper qual lets me fire flares and smoke grenades in order to designate positions as friendly, hostile, or neutral for calling in Nova or more Beskar to engage and deal with.
I know this is getting off topic, but I just thought about something. I guess these are more general questions now, not even just related to Beskar. How do you feel about Ace Pharmacy?
Ooh, how do I feel about Ace Pharmacy? So Ace Pharmacy is a modification to our medical system in the 91st. We used to initially run just simple Ace Medical, which was simply, if you get shot, put a bandage in it, and then call it a day, basically. There's more to it, like losing blood and broken bones and getting stitched, but as a normal trooper, your main job was to put bandages on wounds and keep fighting. Ace Pharmacy, I personally like it a little bit more because your blood can clot in a wound, which will immediately stop all flow or all fluids exiting your body. So it's like you just put a bandage on there without having to do anything. I hear it's a lot more difficult for medics, but for me it saves me some time. But change is scary, so I'm not sure if I am a huge fan of Ace Pharmacy, but it's interesting to see.
The reason I bring it up is because I'm a medic. Not officially just yet. I'm my CLS. But I've been hearing, like, some people like it, some people don't like it. Because in the event of a mass CAS, for example, you have so much more to do now. Like, you're literally doing surgery on the field right then and there.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I get it's like more of like a realism thing, but it's still just a lot of work for the medic. Like just yesterday, they had to pop one of my bones back in place.
They had to pop. Oh, what the fuck! I've been out of the loop for just a little bit. I know it was just done for these main ops, but fuck, man. Like, when we ran medical, we would give you, like, if you were in bad condition, like very bad condition, the first thing you do is blood wall them, and then you start healing their torso and then their head. And then you would leave one of their limbs open and make sure that blood is flowing into them to begin with. And then you tourniquet the rest of their limbs so they stop bleeding. There was no fixing their bones or anything like that.
Yeah, the old medical system was really simple for troopers and medics, but honestly, the most things that the medics have to worry about besides bandaging and stitching, which is just closing a wound permanently, is blood. So medics could give blood and refill someone's body. And I believe that was it.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. It was just blood walling them so they didn't die most of the time.
Yeah.
I gotta turn the heat on in my apartment. It is currently 58 degrees in this apartment.
It's like I'd say cool, crisp, lovely 60 in mine.
It is currently, what is it, 6:14 in the morning?
Yeah.
It is 7:14 actually, 7:14.
I have not slept.
You need to sleep.
No. I told you my plan earlier.
I know you did.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping soon.
Yeah. That was pretty much the last of my questions. That was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, but I got all of my main ones down.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, if you have any other questions for me, if you could think of anything, that's great. If anyone has any questions for me, feel free to DM me on Discord. It is currently WEYLYN #0832. I love answering questions about Beskar. I love Beskar itself. And I would love to see more people in Beskar.
Yeah. Like, I'd like to see the unit grow as a whole. Like, that's part of the reason I want to do why I'm doing this docuseries. Because I want the unit to grow as a whole, but at the same time, shine light on detachments that don't get a lot. I wouldn't say don't get a lot of recognition, because all the detachments get recognition to some degree, but like, take Nova for example. They're not really credited with a lot when things are going south. They're just sort of there at times.
They're credited with metal shed kills.
Metal shed?
Yeah, it's a joke with the Nova pilots. A lot of their quote-unquote casualties in operations are metal sheds, as Arma would let them know. I believe one time a Nova pilot came out of an operation with 73 metal shed.
Oh my dear lord! Just blowing the shit out of everything.
Yeah, so it's now become like a Nova meme that like their main enemy is metal sheds.
Metal sheds, huh? The more you know.
Yeah. In fact, during yesterday's main op training, I was assisting with Nova's training, and we specifically called out a metal shed, and when we told Nova that it was a metal shed, I watched all of their ARC 170s converge, start opening fire. It was really funny.
I see. I haven't really seen them fly the ARC 170s. I've only really seen the lads for the most part.
Yeah. Excuse me. You won't really see the ARC 170s out that often because they are mainly just air superiority vehicles. They are capable of CASing or close air support, but yeah, mainly if you are seeing an ARC 170, it's usually because you're either looking up at a dogfight or you are witnessing them cast something. Lats, however, they are more popular as they are not only troop transports, they are also gunships.
I see.
Yeah, if you have any more questions about Beskar you can think of, feel free to ask, or I could answer some basic questions about other detachments. Or Kyber itself.
I don't really got anything else, honestly. If you have something that you would like to say, go for it, man.
I believe the only thing I have to say is, personally, from what I've seen of all of the GARC units, the 91st is one of the most relaxed and one of the most chill.
I would have to agree. From what I have been told, the 212th is hell. The 101st seems pretty chill, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
SOB was pretty fun, even though the server we were on was kind of laggy.
Ooh, I have thoughts about SOB that will not go in this episode.
That will not go in this episode. Okay. They were pretty cool guys. I will say that. It was just unfortunate that the server was hitting like 7 frames a second. But I liked being around them. The 501st I haven't really interacted with. The 104th Star Sim, not Mil Sim, Star Sim, I haven't really interacted with either.
I'm talking about the main GARC. So the 501st, the 101st, the 212th, 327th, and the 85th Blitz.
I've seen the 85th Blitz. I've only seen one post from them though. I just happened to see it.
Yeah. I have I will not throw any shade at any of the other GARC units.
No, of course, not at all.
I've just I haven't been able to see everything or from everywhere in GARC. But from what I've experienced and from what little I've experienced and from what little I've seen, the 91st seems like a good home for me.
I agree. I totally agree. I would rather not go back to what I came from. I feel like I've made more progress in 1 month than I ever did in the 104th Milsim. Like, what?
I was just gonna say I would love to see more fun ops or joint ops between GARC.
I agree. So, I'll just put this in this episode. I work Thursday through Saturday, Weylyn, and I know I've told you this before. Yeah. I work 6 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. and the timing is so unfortunate that it is very hard for me to attend main ops at all. Yeah. So joint ops being held on a Sunday will be a godsend.
Honestly, I know it's a lot of coordination to try to get weekly joint ops, but I feel like that's something that Olive Garden could benefit from.
Honestly, I'd put one together myself if I could. Not even gonna lie, man. Just get me in contact with the right people, and I'd do it myself.
You have to get in contact with a lot of leadership. You have to
it all starts with Chard and Mav.
Yeah, it would have to be Chard, Mav, Fraser, Maine, in just the 91st. Then for whatever unit you have to go to, you have to get to their company commander, then their platoons. Then
well,
their
I'd have
commander.
to pick a unit first to do a joint with.
Yeah.
Or shit, how many people can you have on one server?
That depends. I don't know that answer. I will not give an answer. But that is entirely dependent on what server you are running yourself.
Can we just say a lot or a little?
A lot.
Okay.
Like, I know on our servers we can handle up to, we can at least handle up to 50 people.
Like, I was just thinking the reason I asked we could do like a 3-way joint.
That's a lot.
That's what I was saying. That's a lot of people, but how many people can you hold on one server?
I don't know about 3-way joint op.
That's a good idea, though. I might have to write that down.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I actually would put it together myself. But I don't know if I could. I don't know if I can as an SCT. I don't know if I am even that high up to do that.
That's what I was about to say. I was to tell you to hold off on that until you are
at least VCT.
Rank.
At least VCT.
Oh, at least higher, man. Like probably Warrant Officer 1 or CLC.
I was about to say Warrant Officer.
Yeah.
Or even like a CSP or CLC.
Yeah. No, just stick to CLC. Because once you CSP is still in like the main rank road. As
Don't they
I call
branch
it.
off at some point?
Yes, after CSP. So once I'm done with my promo cycle, I will become a CLC, which is my descent into the madness that is leadership. And Larkett has chosen to go down the non-leadership path, and I'm using Larkett as an example here. And he is now a Warrant Officer 1.
So what's the difference for those who don't know?
The difference is for the 91st rank does not really mean anything. It does not mean like, oh, I have to listen to this person because they're a higher rank than me. It is pretty much just boils down to what fashion you get in the unit, so to speak. With a higher rank, you get access to more and more cosmetics on your armor. Like, I know for CSP, I get like a black forearm and like a red shoulders and elbow and knee pads. But eventually, when I reach the higher ranks, I'm gonna be able to get full custom armor, full custom helmet, and custom Kama, which is a... You see Kamas a lot in Star Wars for ARC troopers. They are like the kind of half capes that they have around their legs, commonly referred to as the butt cape. But the higher the rank you get, the more fashion you're allowed to have.
I've been working in Blender for some time now, learning Blender, so that I can try and take some of the load off of Canon, because he's the only one doing the assets for the 91st, for the most part.
So...
Unless Benz. Benz would be the only other person I could think of.
So... I know Canon, Nope, here's the actual right sentence that I'm trying to say. The 91st texture team does not work in Blender. We use Adobe Substance 3D.
Oh, you do? Oh shit,
yeah,
I didn't even know that. I thought you guys used Blender.
No, we use Substance 3D.
Do you know why that is?
I think it's just like the way that Arma imports things. It's just better as like an Adobe file, something. I don't know. I can't speak in depth about that.
You are
That's
all
just my
good,
guess.
man. Our team. What else is there that the 91st offers? You have the detachments, and then you have the other stuff. What all does the 91st offer? Now that I think about it, besides the detachments and Kyber as a whole.
So I honestly believe like that is pretty much it. When it comes to offering things, besides a good sense of community, fun gameplay, and understanding leadership, 91st doesn't really offer anything per se. But I still recommend doing the 91st if you feel like if you think you'd be a great fit. I would definitely recommend that you come down, try an op, and if you decide it's not for you, perfectly fine. But if you decided that it is for you, I would be delighted to have you stay and answer any questions you have or anything.
I second that. For those who are on the edge of joining or didn't know, I'll leave a link down below to the Discord server where you can learn pretty much everything if you're interested. But yeah, I would enjoy for those who still want to come. And if you're on the edge about joining, I say at least give it a try. If you don't like it, you don't like it, and that's okay.
I actually think of things that the 91st can offer. We have print C shops in the 91st.
Oh,
Which is
that's
C shop
right.
is pretty much a C shop is pretty much like, for lack of better terms, an extra job to do in the 91st. Um, there is our C1 administration team, which does mainly paperwork. This unit would not be able to function without them. Godspeed. Then there is C2, which is our operations department, which writes our operations, our missions. They make mission files. They write the missions. I was a writer for a while. And they Zeus missions in themselves. Then there is C3, which is public relations. They handle recruitment and media. So right now, as we speak, there's actually a recruitment going on. There's a member of C3 up there handling that. And then there is where they make media as well. Like how I do with a recent series that I started called the News from the Front Line. It's just a like update thing that you can watch for like 2 minutes roughly. But C3 works on videos, streaming, and images. Then there is C4 or C4 Supply, which codes our Oxmod, and makes textures, and models, and audio. Without them, we certainly could not run. We wouldn't be able to have any custom armor, any custom assets, any custom anything. Then there's the C5 training, which is exactly what it sounds like. You just train people in certain qualifications. There really isn't anything fancy about it. There's also the mentor department of C5, which any new recruit will be attached to learn how the unit functions. Then there's C6 moderation, which is there isn't really anything to go in there. They
Pretty
are just
self-explanatory.
moderation. Yep. Then there is C7 server support, which works on the TeamSpeak server, Discord server, and the Arma servers. If anything ever breaks, you let them know and they fix it.
Yeah. That's pretty much a rundown of almost everything, man.
Yeah.
Skid is playing Football Manager 2023.
What's up?
I said Skid is playing Football Manager 2023.
I do not worry about what Skit is. Skit is an entity.
He is one of his own, I will tell you that.
Yep.
Yo, I'm hungry as fuck, man. Not gonna lie.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
I'm thinking about getting some. Actually, no, I can't get Wendy's yet. It's just gonna be breakfast right now.
Yeah. But other than that, is that all for me?
Yeah, that's all I got for you, man.
All right. Well, thank you for interviewing me.
You're welcome.
It was lovely talking about Beskar and the rest of the 91st with you. And I hope that we've talked about today will influence some people to join.
I agree. I would love to see it, man.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and unlock my channel to let Bull flow back in.
Okay. And with that, my name has been 064, and also known as Winter, and I am out.